This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Hey y'all, I'm April.
And I'm Caroline.
And this is your Bloody Happy Hour. Caroline, are you ready for this?
This is your newest guilty pleasure.
It's the bloodiest part of your week.
Did we say something about it also being happy hour?
Show did.
Because we about to be sipping on some murder. Bloody happy hour.
Hey y'all, this is April.
And this is Caroline.
And Happy New Year!
Oh my gosh, happy 2025. What a great start to the year.
What? Oh, there's been so
Wow.
much.
Wow, where do we even begin?
We hope y'all had great holidays at home with your families. And we hope you missed us just a little bit. Or maybe you were so busy that you did not miss us.
No, you definitely missed us.
Either way, we're back in action. It was a good little break for me, at least.
I had some good holidays. It was actually really good.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, it was good.
Good. Caroline is going to tell us, kind of catch us up on things that's been going on since literally 2025 hit.
Is on actual fire. And
Literally
I
on
already had forgotten about what happened. Just because currently right now it's all the fires in California.
Yes, but before
But let's
that,
not forget what happened in New Orleans and what happened in Las Vegas. So, okay. The terror attack in New Orleans, New Year's, at like 3 a.m. on New Year's Day, I guess. Samsudin Jabbar is the guy who just sped 80 miles an hour down Bourbon Street, just fled down Bourbon Street, killing, 10 people? Killing 14.
yes.
14, then plus him is 15, and then injured about 30-something others.
Yes.
And the first thing there was so much to happen. So they have these barriers. So first of all, the Sugar Bowl was happening like a few days later.
Which was who? I couldn't even remember was playing. Georgia? Is that when Georgia was playing?
Notre Dame and Georgia.
Okay.
So it was supposed to happen on New Year's Day. So yeah, that next day, because they postponed the game and they had it the very next day.
Yeah.
So this happens at 3 a.m. New Year's Eve, whatever. And they had installed these like metal barriers that would block off the street, so where cars can't drive through, that are on hydraulics. So it's like one barrier and it just rises up and then goes back down. Well, those weren't up. It was just those plastic orange things.
Oh, I never see the barriers. I always see just the orange things.
I think they might have been new because they installed them to get ready for the Super Bowl, or they had been there. I've heard a bunch of things. They were working on them, blah, blah, blah. But where he drove through, there was cop cars on like blocking the road, but he sped through and drove along the sidewalk to get onto the road, to get onto Bourbon Street, and then just like floored it and went like I saw video, like you saw security cameras of videos of these. One of them, a kid just got straight run over, like disappeared. And then the other one, this girl with like pink hair or something, she just barely got on the sidewalk in time to not get hit by him. And apparently he was like he had been born in Texas.
Beaumont.
And was like a real estate agent at one point, and then somehow got
converted. I think he converted. Like, is that even his real name, or did he change his name? A lot of Muslims change their names when they convert. Was he black?
He was dark.
I don't know, but I couldn't tell if he was like like Middle Eastern or black.
It looked a little like
both.
The name sounds like Middle Eastern.
Muslim, yeah.
Or whatever.
Or Middle Eastern.
But when you search for his name before it went like super viral, I guess, before the police were able to scrub like his pages, there was he had a YouTube page and he was talking like a normal business, sophisticated guy.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that was his name 5 years ago. So,
okay. So that probably was his name.
Yeah.
So it probably was Middle Eastern.
So he was, I guess, radicalized and he had this ISIS flag. Well, what was weird was so he's driving, he crashes into this, I called it a crane, but it's like something that was on the sidewalk that I guess helps build the building. I don't know what it's called. And he smashes into that, the front end of the truck. The truck was also rented, like it was somebody's truck that you rent from this site called Turo. It's like an app, I guess. So if you like, hey, I'm going to put my car on Turo, so then somebody can rent it out for a weekend and they can use my car and then they give it back or something. I guess that's what this Turo app does.
Damn, there's just ways to make money.
So Turo is what he used to rent this truck, but it's also what the Vegas Cybertruck bomber used to rent the Cybertruck. It was rented on Turo. Okay. So that was like why they thought that was maybe connected. Anyways, so he rents that truck. He has this truck he's driving. It's an electric truck. It's nice. Looks pretty new.
I thought it was a van. It wasn't even a van?
It was a nice truck, nice white truck. Crashes into that thing and gets out, starts shooting at police, and police shoot him right away, kill him. He's on the ground. He's dead. Then the first thing that you see is, well, first, you have everything starts to go viral. If Twitter or X wasn't around, I don't think we would really know the whole story. I think it would be like the Vegas shooting at the concert where, I mean, I think we probably had Twitter, but maybe stuff didn't go as viral as quickly maybe. But in one of the pictures you see on the back of the truck, there's a PVC pipe with what looks like a flag, but it's like wrapped up. So you can't see what kind of flag it is, but all the sleuths out there were like, that's an ISIS flag. You can tell there's a little white chalk mark and it's black and it looks like that's what it is. But in one of the pictures that didn't get out, that eventually came out, it's like the FBI is taking a picture of that flag on the ground. But so like immediately they took the flag off, took a picture of it. So they knew he was involved somehow with ISIS as he's driving, flying this ISIS flag. Well, the initial press conference, of course, everything is this DEI hires. Okay, so you have this lady who comes out and she's part of the FBI. And then the chief of police, who's this 72-year-old grandma who comes out talking.
In New Orleans?
Yes. She got fired from Oakland because she ran over 2 people.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So the FBI lady is coming out and she was like, this is not a terror attack. This is not a terror event, blah, blah, blah. There's no blah, blah, whatever. But we already know that you've already taken a picture of this flag.
They don't want to incite terror. They don't want people
They didn't
to
want anybody to know it was that. At least that's what we think. We're like, okay, so you didn't want us to know it was terror attack. What were you going to maybe change it, like not tell us? But then when people were finding out that flag, the PVC pipe and they saw the wrapped flag up and we're figuring it out, they're like, well, what is this flag? What is this flag? What is this flag? This is ISIS. It looks like ISIS. What is it? And then like 2 hours later, they do another press conference and another with like 15 people or 20 people. It's like too many people. And they're like, this is a terror event. It was an ISIS flag. So then the whole story changes.
Oh, goodness.
And the grandma, who's the chief of police, is like talking about, well, this is a horrible thing, but we just really want everybody to know that all the other streets are open and you can still enjoy the town. And we're going to postpone the game, but we just still all want everybody to know that everything is safe. And at first they're talking about there are multiple people involved.
Yeah.
And then they change it to there's just only one involved. And then they're like, oh, now we have the game that's coming up. So they're really focused on the game because they're going to make money.
Yeah.
So
I was surprised that it was the next day.
The next day. It went,
did you do a full bomb sweep?
Yeah, it just went from so like, oh my gosh, it's like all these people are involved and it's terror and it's this and it's that, to like, oh, it's just one person and we've swept the house, and because he was staying in a house that was close by and it's not related to anything else and everything's fine and we have the game. Let's go. Yay.
Go Notre Dame.
Like, was the blood even off the streets? Probably not. They opened up Bourbon Street, I think, like 30 minutes before the game started the next day.
Oh, yeah. I had a...
yeah, you showed me.
I had people that were there that following, like later that week, that Friday after it happened. And there were vigils. There was like, they had a bunch of big, gigantic crosses, like as many as the people that died. So there was this big memorial and like tribute, I guess. But then then there's regular Bourbon Street where you're drunk and you're, I don't know, at the bar. And the thing is you don't want him to... I felt offended. Y'all know how much I love Bourbon Street. I'd cooked all Cajun food for New Year's because I was like, I'm channeling and I identify as Cajun, obviously. But
no,
you don't want him to win. I understand that. And that bowl brings in so much money for the city. Bourbon Street brings in so much money for the city. Why would we let him win? As long as they thought everybody was safe, let them go. Like, let people go do what they wanted to do. I was thinking about, because it costs a lot of money. Those tickets cost a lot of money. The plane, the flights, the hotels. People spent money to get down there to have a canceled game.
Yep.
So to have it the next day, maybe they were thinking, okay, this will maybe help those people that maybe they're only staying one night. Did they extend another night? I don't know. It would have been shitty to cancel it. It would have been shitty to put it the next week because all those same people may not have the same money to go the next week.
But then, like, were they able to sweep the stadium, the whole thing, you know?
I have to at least make myself feel better and think that they did something to make sure people were safe.
And then in a couple of weeks, they have the Super Bowl there.
Yes, Lordy.
So they were talking, that's another thing that they're trying to make people feel safe and keep coming and it's going to be fine. And the barriers are going to be up because they were just getting worked on to prepare for the Super Bowl.
Now it probably is the safest place to go, really.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be overly vigilant.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
So that was crazy. And then the very same day, on New Year's Day, around 8:30 in the morning, this Cybertruck explodes in front of Trump Tower in Vegas. Well, this Cybertruck was also rented from that Turo website or app. So then they're like, well, was this related? And it turns out that they both were, like, they're both former military. I forgot, like, the Jabbar was in the Army. This other guy, I think his name was... I can't remember his name.
So who are these people? I didn't know much about that. I just remember seeing a Cybertruck blow up and just give me another reason not to trust them.
Matthew Levelsberger was the guy who did the Cybertruck. Both of these people were in the military. They're both at Fort Bragg. Which, I mean, that's huge. There's like 50,000, 57, 60,000 people who are there in the military. So at first they were thinking maybe they're related. They both rented their trucks and they both did these attacks on the same day. Like, is it like just, we're going to attack this place and then we're going to attack this place? And then, was it going to be a simultaneous attacks of all these terrorist attacks, whatever? We've let in all these illegals. And there's this group of people that have planned all these attacks, whatever. We don't know. Then they said maybe they were related. Then they said they weren't related. I don't know. This guy, he just had, like, there was fireworks, there was explosive devices and all kinds of stuff. And they tracked him. He drove from where he rented the car in Colorado. And since it's an electric car, they could see every stop that he made along the way to Vegas. And he was just a white dude who was a Green Beret. And his ID and his passport and all of his stuff was found in the Cybertruck. But when it exploded up. So even like none of the windows, nothing on the tower was damaged because of how it exploded, I guess. But then they said that it was exploded via a AI device.
Remote.
So, a remote. So
I think somebody's trying to send a message to Trump.
Well, yeah.
Elon Musk.
Well, then
you're my bitch now.
Well, then you think, are they using Elon Musk's car? Because, like, they're saying Elon and Trump are together, or like,
But now there's all these memes. It's like Trump is Elon's bitch, basically.
Yeah.
Like Elon's going to be the one that's running it all. Who is the Antichrist?
I mean, I don't really know what to think about it. They said that the guy who was inside of the Cybertruck had a self-inflicted gunshot wound, and so he was dead, in the explosion, the body was charred beyond recognition. And
so we don't even know who he is.
As far as I know,
there's no teeth.
I think
they don't want us to know.
I don't know, because I'm like, okay, what if the dude, this Livingsburger, whatever, what if he killed the dude, put him in the front seat, and then he put all of his identification in there, and somehow he wanted to create a new life, and so he remotely drove the car there, exploded it, and then they're like, oh, but they think I'm dead, but I'm really over here living my best life.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Burger. He's Jewish.
Well, so then after that, we have, the fires, which that has nothing to do with anything crime-wise, but just interesting 2025 stuff.
Started off crazy.
So let's go back to, we'll talk about some other crime that we don't know about in Mississippi. Okay, December 28th, Jennifer and Brandon Sheffield. They are a married couple, and they are, did you hear about this?
A little bit.
They're found dead by gunshot wounds in their house. And like I think the family did a welfare check because they hadn't heard from her, and police go over there and they find what looks to be a murder-suicide. Well, on December 10th, this Jennifer, she posted on TikTok, and she's talking about how incredible her ex-husband is. So they're getting a divorce, but they're working together. Everything's going to be great. She's talking about, this is what she said in the video. She said, I'm a newly single mom. I'm in the middle of divorce. My husband has been incredible and really, really supportive. We're working together. Everything's great. We're splitting everything down the middle.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
We're having a very civil divorce. Our daughter, keeping our daughter in mind.
Was this a live or was this a post? I can't remember.
It was like a TikTok.
Okay, so she was saying it.
Yeah, so she did a TikTok video on the 10th, and then it's there on the 28th at 7:19. They did the wellness check. The police go there, and they found this horrible scene and what looked like a murder-suicide. Both were found dead by gunshot wounds, and there was signs of obvious foul play in the house. Brandon was 40. And it appeared that he shot Jennifer before shooting himself. And they believed that the daughter was at the house at the time of the incident, but there is nothing else that they said about the kid or anything. They just said that there was like a GoFundMe that they had started.
But they know where the kid is now? Or the kid's missing?
Yeah, they know where the kid is. The kid's, I don't know how old this kid is, but then there's apparently 2 kids. So I'm thinking she had a previous kid. She had to have a previous kid in the marriage and a previous whatever, and they had to have 1 kid together because there's a picture of the 2 of them with 2 kids, and they look like they're like maybe 10 or 11 or something, so they're not like too young. But friends say that they would never have thought this, that it was shocking, like. I don't know. And they never stated why they were getting divorced. She never did, at least in any of her videos. So far, it's just the investigation is ongoing. Gosh. But like, what do you do? It's murder-suicide.
Yeah.
I mean.
I'm surprised it's not open and shut.
I would think it would be. She was enrolled in her, and what was weird is she was saying how she was a little nervous about like living on her own and having to like pay a mortgage and pay bills and have a job. But then it also said that she has a master's degree, Master's of Medical Science.
Well, maybe she just was stay at home when she was with him.
I guess, because I was like, well, if you have your master's degree, and it just says in the hopes of becoming a doctor. So I guess she had her master's degree, maybe then she was a stay at home.
Which means maybe he made her stay at home, even though she had these big dreams and he shut her down. Maybe that was a sign of the control.
That could have been. So, I mean, I don't know. Yeah. That's all we got about that. We have an update on the Slender Man stabbing girl.
Oh, that was a long time ago.
From the past, 2014. So, 12-year-old. This was 12-year-old Megan Geyser and Anissa Weir. They're friends, and it's a friend group of 3. So Megan, Anissa, and Peyton. Megan and Anissa and Peyton all went to the woods, and Megan decided she wanted to stab Peyton 19 times because she thought she was the Slender Man.
Yes. Okay, I remember.
So stabbed her 19 times to appease the fictional horror character Slender Man. This is back in 2014. So she is, okay, she's been in like I guess she was mentally, what was her thing? She was 20 she's now 22. She was originally committed in the Winnebago Mental Health Institute to a maximum of 40 years of state mental health supervision after she was found not guilty by reason of mental disease in 2018. So she was back in court on Thursday seeking to be released from the psychiatric hospital. Her previous attempt in April was denied. And then this is her 4th time in the past 2 years. She's asked to be let out. And this is in Wisconsin.
Of course.
Waukesha County. So that's the same county that Daryl Brooks drove through that parade. Waukesha County Circuit Judge determined that Geyser had maximized her treatment options at the facility and ordered the State Department of Health and Service to set up a plan for supervising and housing her in a group home. So she is going to be released, subject to his approval at a hearing within 60 days. So I guess she's released into a group home with it and just get 60 days to see how she acts.
She did this when she was 12?
She did this when she was 12. And let's see. Several doctors had examined her. And they said she made enough progress for conditional release. At first, let's see, when she had first applied for this a couple years ago, she wasn't ready because she was still having either suicidal thoughts or she was seeing demons.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, you're fine all of a sudden?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
They also said Ed Kemper was fine. So,
So the doctor, Brooke Loudbaum, who has a long history of working with Megan, had previously said that Geyser was not ready for this release, although changed course during Thursday's hearing, testified in support of the release. Because, it was in 2021 where she was denied. And this is when that doctor said there was a report of auditory disturbances that she had specifically described as being demons. But now she didn't see the demons. So, and the girl, I thought the girl died. But the girl didn't die.
The one that she stabbed?
The one that she stabbed.
Okay.
So she stabbed her 19 times thinking she was dead. They left her for dead. But she crawled out of the woods and survived the attack.
Oh, my goodness.
And was saved and found by a bicyclist.
Oh, my goodness.
I know. Is that mine? So
we need to do that story.
I know.
And we basically did.
Yeah. I mean, we did. So The doctor finally, the new findings said that her current understanding is that she experienced fantasy related to these different fictional characters, and within the context of her mental illness, fantasy essentially became blurred with reality, where she had a difficult time determining the difference between essentially what's fiction versus what's real.
There is a good movie out about it that I saw a long time ago. It was pretty good. Maybe it was like a Lifetime movie called The Slender Man.
It might be. Y'all should go look
but
at it.
How does that it's like letting, how does that go away? Because what happens is they get out and they get off of their medicine and they do something again.
And go look her up, because if you see what she looks like, she done shaved her damn head. She got a buzz haircut.
She's not normal.
She's not well. She's not well. And it's just bad. I don't know. So that's that. Then let's go to, this just happened yesterday. Let's talk more about the doomsday mom killer, Lori Vallow Daybell. So she already has a life sentence. She's going to be in prison the rest of her life for killing her children. But now she is going to go to Arizona, and she's going to be on trial for killing her ex-husband.
Not Chad.
Not
Chad's
Chad.
Alive. The first one.
Charles Vallow. So she is facing charges for the murder of her fourth husband, Charles Vallow.
Oh, fourth?
Fourth. That was her fourth one. And attempted to kill her niece's ex-husband, Brandon Bordeaux. She will stand trial on the murder charges first, with the jury is scheduled to begin their jury selection March 31st. So I think it's, according to yesterday's hearing, it was 76 days away.
Wow.
But the best part is she is pro se, which means she is representing herself.
That is the biggest red flag.
Think about it, though. She has been in, like,
so many
trial and hearings and court and all this stuff for so many. She has to be like, have a little bit of knowledge of it. And she did do it was interesting listening to her talk to just talk and just see like how she sounds. I mean, she seems like she knows a little bit what she's saying, but you can tell, like, I don't know.
I mean, who has represented themselves? These extreme narcissists with control.
Yes. Like Sarah Boone tried to do it. She almost represented herself. She was about to. Daryl Brooks.
Ted Bundy.
Oh, Ted Bundy. Lori Vallow Daybell. But now she wants to make sure that she goes by Lori Daybell. She's not going by Vallow. She's not hyphenating. That's what she is going to be referred to. So she's already, like I said, serving multiple life sentences in Idaho for the murders of her two youngest children, her fifth husband's first wife,
and a brother. Didn't a brother die?
Well, that's who I think she was. That's what was in Idaho. So let's see. She made clear to the court that she wished to be addressed as Lori Daybell, reflecting her having taken her fifth husband's last name, Chad Daybell, who's also convicted of murdering the two children and his first wife. He was also sentenced to death in Idaho. She asked the judge to compel prosecutors to provide her with more evidence in the case, focusing in part on documents related to her extradition from Idaho to Arizona, because now she's in Arizona. And the judge denied this, saying like he doesn't know why this would be relevant to her case, blah, blah, blah. So she's like, she just wants this evidence. And he's like, that has nothing to do with your trial. Why do you need this? And she just went and she says that they're on track for a trial on the 31st. And she says, this is what she says: defense intends on starting the trial without delay. And that's the first trial will focus on Charles Vallow's murder. And then the second trial will focus on Brandon Bordeaux's attempted murder. And she says she's ready and she's requested additional discovery from prosecutors. And she is just...
I mean, you're already doing life in prison. Wouldn't even care.
She's just bored. Yeah. I mean, you might as well.
She needs some attention.
She's like, let me just have a little fun. Let me just play lawyer. Also, Yolanda Salvador is finally up for parole.
She ain't gonna make it.
And the board is supposed to vote around March 30th.
She ain't let her out, but she ain't gonna make it.
No.
Long. And in Texas, please.
Yeah. And then last but not least, Popcorn Corner.
Okay.
Blake Lively.
Yes, I have seen her name, but I don't know what's going on.
Okay, so she was in this Netflix movie that was called It Ends With Us.
Yes.
And before this even came out, we've been on break. I've actually watched like 3 Netflix movies, like full movies. Yeah, it's weird. So I started, this one I didn't finish, but I got like a little bit in and I was bored with it. So I stopped watching. And then I was like, and then this lawsuit came out and I was like, well, now I need to go finish watching it. But the Hollywood legal drama. Okay, this has the Hollywood world talking about Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. He is her co-star. He is also the producer, and it's also his production company.
Oh,
she is suing all 3. Or she's filed lawsuits against. They've almost filed lawsuits against one another. He's actually not suing her yet. He's suing the New York Times. So their hit movie, which came out this summer, which is based on this best-selling book turned into a film, It Ends With Us, which is about domestic violence. It came out in August. So she filed a lawsuit against him and the production company alleging sexual harassment, and then claims an alleged smear campaign was started to destroy her reputation. So basically, a couple of things that she said is that he would make comments to, and there's a bunch of text messages that were put in this filing. Text messages saying like he would basically was referring to her as fat, calling her fat. There were some scenes where stuff he would do wasn't in the script, like maybe like kiss her on the neck or kiss her, and then like he whispered in her ear how beautiful she or how good she smelled or something, and that wasn't in the script, and that she was because I guess she had, I don't know when she had a baby, whatever, but she was breast pumping, and that he came into her like dressing room while she's pumping and she just felt violated. But then like later on you find out that there's text messages between them. He's saying, hey, can we work on lines? And she's like, yeah, I'm pumping, but come on, it's no problem. She didn't include that in her filing. So then she files this claim basically saying she's been sexually harassed throughout this whole filming of this movie. And then she's like, now that I've been sexually harassed, now they're putting a smear campaign on me saying that I did this and they're not promoting me for this movie and they're saying all this bad stuff about me. Blah, blah, blah.
But what do you expect? You're suing everybody on the movie. They're not going to invite you to the opening.
Well,
the
now
Hollywood parties.
Justin Baldoni has filed his own lawsuit, not against Lively, not yet, but against the New York Times, which is who broke the story in December. And Justin Baldoni's legal team says that the New York Times was irresponsible for running this story because it's defamatory and it was reporting stuff based on her claims only. And they've accused them of just taking whatever she said, running with it, and publishing it without having any evidence. So now his attorney is like he's filing a lawsuit against the New York Times. He's going to get ready to file a lawsuit against Blake Lively. And they got all the receipts, or like the text messages that they put in that lawsuit were edited. They weren't and tons of stuff.
So why would she do it?
I don't know. I think that this is what I've heard about her lately is she's very much a feminist and has way too much power, way too much money. But I don't know why you need to do that. And apparently the movie A Simple Favor, who she was with, Anna Karenina, I think is her name, she starred with in that movie. That came out in 2018. There's supposed to be another one that comes out in like a month or two, A Simple Favor 2. Now that movie that they were in together, her and Anna, they didn't get along.
I was going to say, does she have a history of
Yeah,
this?
because Blake Lively has been acted a certain way towards her. And so now she's refusing to promote the movie. So now that movie's on pause. And then there's some interviews that came out from when she played in that movie where, oh gosh, she was dressed up in a bunch of different outfits. The Age of Adeline, I think it was. Anyways, it's a bunch of, she was pregnant while she was doing this interview. In this movie, she wore several different outfits because it was basically her going from like living in this time period to this time period to this time period. So she's wearing a bunch of different like fancy outfits and hats and all the things. So the interviewer first asks her like, oh, I like see that you have a baby bump, like just whatever. And she, Blake Lively, looks at a co-star because it's like her and her co-star and the interviewer. She looks at the co-star. She's like, oh, well, you have some lovely lady lumps as well. Like just like being rude to the interviewer. Like if you're like, hey, how's your I noticed your baby bump. And like if you ask me that, then I look over here and I'm like, oh, I noticed your, yeah. Oh, okay. And then she says, well, tell me about how did you like all the outfits and the dressing up and the like everything you were wearing? And she looks again at her co-star and she's like, they never do ask about how the guys like their outfits. I mean, they had nice trousers and everything, and they just never, and just is like
she's
very
crazy.
So just kind of like feministy, and I don't know. There's really no reason to act
oppositional.
I know, and I don't know if Ryan Reynolds has something to. I mean, that's who she's married to, and I don't know. I think she's beautiful, but it's just too bad that she's
usually those are the crazy ones.
I know. So it looks like this may be a little Amber Heard, Johnny Depp. It might get, I feel like
it may get that way.
It could get that big because her lawsuit was just like a civil claim, but I think he's going to really like go hard after her.
Well, and two, I know I'm not the only one that does this, but when somebody plays a role and a role really, really good, like him playing this abusive role, then you read in the news that, because that's what I thought. I was like, oh my goodness, is he really like he is in the role? Is that why he played it so good? You're going to have so many people that think that way.
Well, and I never heard of the guy. I'm like, I don't even know who this person is. Like, I have no idea. I don't know why even, like, I had no idea. And of course, you know who she is. So then you're like, oh, I love her. Like, she's a great actress. And I loved Gossip Girl.
Yeah, I guess I never watched anything that she was in. But it kind of reminded me of Izzy from Grey's Anatomy. Remember, she was...
Yes.
She was not in anything. She was in so much, left Grey's Anatomy and had all these movies. Then it turns out she's a shitster. She's a bitch. She demanded things that you should not demand. And then she wasn't in anything except for Suits. But then that was a long time ago. I haven't seen her in anything. And then she came out with an article not too long ago that basically saying that, oh, that's not true. I just want to be on a movie. Please hire me.
Well, don't be a bitch.
Don't be a bitch. Okay. Is that it?
That's it.
All right. Good quickie. Woo, we had a lot to catch up on. We'll see y'all next week. Oh, no, we'll see y'all Thursday for a full episode. And we will be in Tejas and Florida.
Ooh, two good places to be.
Miami, actually. And I know you're going to know this story.
Okay, good.
All right. Well, don't forget to
stay aware,
stay alive,
and always be GTF.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.